What's going on, everybody, on this maniac of a Monday? It's definitely a Monday. If it was any other type of day other than Monday, I don't know what it would be, but definitely has the nuances, I guess, as far as of being a typical Monday. But yeah, jumping right in, I guess, as far as into my favorite place, I guess, as far as to get away from all the frustrations of the typical Monday. We're doing some modeling. A little bit later, I guess, as far as than I usually do. I just hadn't really planned on it, to be honest. It's kind of a little bit of impromptu, but yeah, we're gonna do this. Just kind of chilling out, I guess, as far as hopefully y'all are having a better Monday than I am, and let's just see if we can get through it. It's that simple. So what I'm in the process of doing here, I've been kind of working on this this deal here a little bit at a time. It is for Farming Simulator 22, hence the kind of the category we're under here. Into which world? So yeah, it is for Farm Simulator 22, and this is kind of the makeshifts of it. So I got some of the pieces somewhat already put in, but I need to had to redo some stuff, I guess, as far as to get everything to line up right, because I want to potentially add some more animation, I guess, as far as to this than the one that currently has. So I'm in the process of just kind of redoing some stuff, I guess, as far as based on a dry run, I guess, as far as of it. So it's going to be a lot of swapping and replacing parts, I guess, as far as to get everything going here. If you're kind of wondering what this is, it is a conveyor belt, I guess, as far as for bales, and particularly square. The fact that you could probably use it for round bales as well, as far as the size of it that I got too. We're going to be testing these things out, I guess, to see how this is going to work out anyway. So yeah, going to be a lot of rinse repeat, you know, swapping parts out or whatever based on a previous design from what we already had it constructed to. So we're in Blender, I guess, as far as to get parts UDIM, as far as to get the materials that we want onto it, as far as the color mask based on the vehicle shader and so on and so forth. So that's what I was in the process of getting set up here. We should already have this set up where I want it. It's going to be on color mat 0, so that should be pretty good, but we're just going to confirm just to make sure. So we're going to go into a material selector here. Now the fact that this this material selector for this is all based on Farm Sim 19 stuff, and it still seems to be very, very much applicable, I guess, as far as to Farm Sim 22, much the same. I do understand that there is a new plugin for Blender, for the newer versions of Blender, I guess, as far as that works with 22. This version here seems to work just fine in my older version of Blender. So at least it has up to this point. So hopefully that doesn't bite me in the butt, I guess, as far as but I'd rather all these parts that we got in here, which these are all going to be like a metallic gray, I guess, as far as for these parts, and they should be already in color mat 0, which is in this location for all these here, so we should be okay. So I shouldn't need to do anything with that other than to just export it out, which, did I already do that? Let me see here. I did already do that. Alright, cool. Yeah, I've been working on this a little bit at a time, I guess, as far as just to kind of, so it's I've been all over the place with it. I've just been trying to get my frustrations of the day, I guess, as far as out of my head. That's about all. What's going on, Tiger? Are you coming in and lurking? You still playing some Project Zomboid? I know I saw you on Project Zomboid. Definitely hope everybody out there, to include the likes of Tiger Lily, are having a much better Monday than I am. I'm gonna try and enhance my chi, find my zen, I guess, as far as by doing a little bit of modeling. Hopefully this works out for us. Alright, let's Let's see what else we got in here. So I got some particular parts in here. Okay, there's our top gear. Yep, so this I did already export. So what I got currently loaded up here in Blender, I've already got it exported out right here. Alright. So what I need to do is apply the vehicle shader and all that jazz, I guess, as far as to these parts. Okay. Yep, so there are some things. So I need to adjust some things in here that doesn't get applied. We don't need a tangent. Take that one off. I'm just going through all the individual spots. So I have all these that are exported out from Blender. Again, the exporter that I use, the i3D exporter that I use in this version of Blender, is an older version, and the only thing it doesn't necessarily do is it tells me it's well, in this case it's going to be binary, which is going to be anyway regardless of which one we use. So we're all in good shape. We're in good shape. All right, so we don't need the tangent on that one. I just forgot to do all of this, I guess, as far as prior to Blender, export from Blender, so I can just do those right within the Giants editor. Not a big deal. Alright, so we got all that. So the fact that these are all under this, these are all going to be the same color mat 0 with a same material name. I can edit just one of these, I guess, as far as, and then it'll follow suit with all these different parts that I got currently loaded in, so that should be good. I think that'll work out really good. So now what we need to do is get our gloss map onto this. And that is not where I want to be. We do have to go into the thick of our FarmSim 22 files, and we can use this share default specular. That'll work. Nice. We need to at least get that one applied. In an effort, I guess, as far as to get the vehicle shader in specific, I guess, as far as applied to these parts, we need to at least put a default specular on that. These parts aren't going to get dirty or anything like that, so the default specular will work just fine. Okay. Now we'll apply that vehicle shader, like thusly. And we also want to make sure we get the color mask on it. These parts in particular aren't going to be color changeable within the store, but we do want to have a particular material applied to it. That'll remain static. So we did set this up to color mat 0, so if we go back to our Blender, that's what this location is representative of. It's color mat 0. So we're going to, on color mat 0, see right now it's just loading in that default pukey looking yellow. We don't want it to be that color. We're going to change these to somewhat of a gray color. Something like that, and I want to use 4, which is a metallic. It's a metallic. No, you have to all kind of almost know, I guess, as far as what all the different bits are. I guess as far as I get 4, I just happen to know is a metallic type of texture. I guess as far as like that, there's like 32 or more different material types on top of the color. I've already pre-selected that, and I've used this number 4 in the Giants material library, which is all a part of this mess. So if I did apply it this way as well, I just know the number, so I'm just going to apply that number directly, just to kind of save myself. I already know what it is, so I'm just going to use that. Alright, so with all that applied, let's check our other parts here. So we got, yep, so these are all zeroed out. I shouldn't say zeroed out, but the pivots on these are going to be on those particular parts in question. So it's going to give me the option, especially for like these main shafts, to be able to potentially have these rotate, have some animation to it. I don't know if I'll get to that during this stream, but I want the option to be able to do that. So yeah, so in this one here, we want to potentially have that rotate. Yep, so that should work there. Cool. Want to make sure that pivot's in the right spot in that case. Okay, so that's all good there. So I think I got everything applied to these parts as we need. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save this as a binary onto the desktop. Or that. Yep, we want to do this as binary. Yes, please. And then do a new. And now, because I did it as binary, Giants Editor doesn't see that you saved it as like a regular, a normal i3D, because we saved it as binary. So that's the only reason why it's bringing up again to save the changes. And I'm just going to say yes to that, just to make sure, just to satisfy its displeasure for for us not saving it as a normal i3D. Just to put it simple. I'll just leave it simple. I'm trying to leave things as simple as possible. I'm trying to simplify the craziness that has gone on today in IRL. It's been super duper crazy today, so I do appreciate, I guess, as far as everybody's understanding, I guess, as far as with me being a little bit out of sorts today. Go ahead and stop that. We don't need this anymore. It's gonna free up some resources real quick. Okay. Now what we should be able to do in our main model here, we got to get these parts that we just exported into our hierarchy here. Alright, so that's what we'll do next. Let's bring these guys in. That'll be these guys. So they should initially load into place, which you might have to still adjust it. There's that. There's those. Here. Yep, so most of these parts are loading into place already, which is kind of good, but I think they are going to get thrown off a little bit because I made the absolute boo-boo, and I'm not going to adjust it at this point. But normally you want to have your main translator here all set to 0. I didn't do that in this case. I do have this one, which is my main transform, main translate, and this is the only one I didn't. I was adjusting things the wrong way, and yeah, things got messed up, so I'm just gonna leave it that way at this point. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Okay. Now, so we have. So basically, what it's gonna come down to, just like I mentioned, as far as to just copy replace, I guess, as far as some of these pieces that I already had in position. Those were just placeholders, just to kind of get a feel of how everything was falling in, because everything has been modeled within my 3D Max studio, and then I've exported those out as OBJ, brought them into Blender so that I could UDIN them as far as to apply those particular materials, exported out that way. So it's kind of like a leapfrog type of thing, just as far as I like to do majority of my actual modeling within Max. Blender, I just can't stand doing a lot of those types of functions, so there are some things that I need to use Blender for, and that's just one of them, as far as to get that UDIM, the material plug, I guess, as far as to apply it to the parts. I cannot do that in Max, unfortunately. So this is why I'm doing a lot of replacing, because a lot of these parts that I had in here were exports from Max, and they did not have that ability, I guess, as far as to put it in the proper color mat, I guess, as far as for the vehicle shader that's in Giants. So okay, now gotta take this guy, rename that real quick, and then we'll do cut, paste this into our main thing here. And it's going to be out of place, and that's okay. I'll be able to manually move that into position. And see how this is at a 0.52 on the Y? If I take this into consideration here, if I bring that down that much, it should be put it right in place, and it should be for all these new parts. Oh, so I should be able to take. I don't even need to go by that one. Hold on. So that is down here. I'm gonna move that up here. This is my new one, so I should be able to just bring this down by 0.3, so this should go be 0.22. And that should be right in the position I need it to be. I can take this one out. Beautiful. Alright, so it's one at a time. So bolt motor shape, that's going to be down here. My bolts for my motor down here. Now, as it stands right now, none of this is animated. But there is the potential there that I want to have some animation onto this belt. I want these pulleys and whatever to turn. So that was some more other further adjustments I had to make prior to what I got in here already. Alright, so that we need to rename this one. So got this guy. Paste it into here. That's gonna go here. And all we need to do is bring that down by 3, so this is going to be 0.063. 0.063. Like so. Marvelous. Alright, cool. We can get this one out. I don't know why that's clipping like that. That's weird. Actually, these are up a little bit higher, I notice. Okay. Yep, I must have adjusted that position. Better. So this is what I previously had. It's a little bit lower. That looks like it looks better even yet. Alright, cool. Just double checking my previous work. Alright. Moving right along. So we should have chain drive shaft, which is this part. Okay. Cut that. Set into here. That's going to be that part. Now the chain, there are some other parts that are a different color that I'm not going to be working with just yet. We'll be getting to it though. We'll be getting to it. Alright, so we just need to bring that one down by 0.3, which will be 0.94. 0.94. Beautiful. We can get this one out of here. Ta-da. Yep. See, this is going to give me room to rotate that one. Alright. So far, so good. Main shaft, which is this guy. So this is on the motor. So this is kind of gear driven here. So this one turns, which turns this chain. So the motor runs, turns this shaft, which is geared to this chain drive, which gets these flippers moving, I guess, on our conveyor. That's the idea behind it anyway. Okay, so this is our main shaft. We need to cut that here, put it in our visuals transform. That there. And we just need to bring that down by 0.3, so that's another 0.94. Beautiful. Take this one out. Marvelous. Love it when they fall into place. Okay, this motor too. So this motor's in two different parts. So we got a paintable part, and then it's the part that stays static, which for now I'm bringing in the part that stays static, which is this metallic gray. So that material 4 that I put on the vehicle shader down here, this is what gives it that shiny metal color. That's how that works. Okay. Now we need to cut this guy. That's our motor 2, which is this part. Need to bring that down by 0.3, so this is going to be 114. Voila. We can take this one out. Cool. Do. Okay, the belt's going to be a different color. What's our next part? So we got the pulley. Like that. Paste it into here. And our pulley's right there. Bring that down by 0.3. That'll be another 114. Nice. Always good as far as when things just fall right into place. Alright, now we got our winch. What's this part? This is... yeah, this one's in like 3 parts. We got the handle, the winch body, and then the part that is actually paintable. Okay, so if we name this real quick. Put that into our main visuals transform. That one is... well, you know what? This is actually in our lower frame. That's where that one is. That one needs to go right in here. Let's see here. That needs to go right in this one. Yep. Hold on, so does that go into the upper frame? It does go into the upper frame, okay. Sure does, let's put that in there. Alright, now this one's going to be, I think, a little bit different. That's got that. What is the upper frame got? It's up by 0.46. Okay. We should be able to put this to 0.46, I think. Pretty close, but not quite. Alright, I'm going to adjust this manually. Something like that. Yeah, like that, that'll work. And then get rid of this filler. Wow, I had to rotate on that one all jacked up. That's all the more reason to get that one out of there. See, I was trying some things out just to see what I could get for rotations. These parts are the corrected pieces here, so this should be able to rotate. Like so, yep. Alright, cool. Yep. I'll get this one. out of there. Alright, cool. So there's that part. I've got one more piece, which is our top gear. That's on. It's up over here. Okay. That, and that one is right there. That's in our main visuals. Right here. Okay, move that up. Rename that real quick there. And then that should be able to come down by 0.3, so it'll be 0.94. So, and delete that guy. Voila. That's our new part in place. Alright, that should be all of those parts. So we got all of our main shafts, pulleys, so on. So what I'm going to do, now that I've confirmed all that's good to go here, I'm going to save this as a new Blender scene for all these parts. Or conveyor. So let's do save as, and we are going to save these as conveyor brake parts. I don't know why I make this more difficult for myself. I really need to clean out my studio again. I haven't really cleaned up all that much, I guess, as far as from the 5-year stream anniversary, Twitch anniversary that we had this past Saturday. Hope everybody had a good Easter too. Now that I think of it, now that we're on. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay, hold on. I already got an underscore in there. I don't need to do this. There we go. Let's do it this way. OCD is getting the better of me. There we go. And then just let me confirm that it did save that Blender file. Actions, lower frame, enter grade parts. Nice. Cool beans. Alright, so we got all those parts. Now we can move on to... so I already got the sections done. Need our main motor, so all the paint parts. Okay, I guess I only got the one. Hold on, so I think the black parts are going to be next. So basically our belts and our handle on our winch. I think that's what's going to be next. Okay, cool. Alrighty then, so let's go ahead and do a new. Yep. And I need to reload my main. Go here, and then we just need to break it down to all the parts that are black. So it should be the 2 belts for each of the motor pulley and our handle on our winch. That should be all we have. Break that down. So we don't need this one. Don't need that one. We do need this. Do not need that. Don't 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 need that. Motor 2, we already have that. We need the belt. Is this one. Okay. Pulley we don't need. Motor, that's going to be a painted part. That's going to be probably all by itself. I've already got the other painted parts already done. The other paintable parts, I should say. That one is already done. Yeah, these parts are already done. Top gear. Winch base, that one is the gray. Oh, we do have two parts. So we got the winch base and the motor. Okay, so that's the two parts. That's another paintable part. We don't need it just yet, though. For the body, we already did that one. That's the gray. Yep. And our handle is black. So all the black parts we got in here. Sweet. Alright. Now we should be able to export that out as an i3D. Whoa, what the heck? And we'll just do this as black parts. That'll work. And just put that right to our desktop. Wait, now we can confirm here too that we've got this in color matte 0. Let's double check that here real quick too while we're at it. Yep, that's in color matte 0. That's what we want that to be. So in theory, that should be all set. Be all set. Without even bringing the material editor out there, I guess as far as I should be able to confirm that just by looking at it this way. The fact that it's not on 0, in this grid, it's off down 1. That's what we need it to be. That's definitely what we need it to be. Alright, cool. Let's go into here. Let me actually open up the desktop here and we'll get this loaded up. Where'd that little rascal go? Oh, there it is. I lost it there for a second. Alright, let's load this up in the editor. We'll use this as a separate session here. Get a little bit to get it loaded up there. Okay, so there's our chain. Let's focus on that. Yep, so they're going to come in all nice and chromy like this initially. Till we get the vehicle shader applied to it. Alright, just need to adjust some things. I need to do this, take the tangent off. I should just really do that in Blender as far as prior to export. It'd save me a little bit of a step, but call me lazy. Call me lazy. Alright, so we got all that. Alright, cool. Let me see where... Yep, so our pivot for that should be in a good spot. I may have to change this if I want this belt to move. I don't know how that would necessarily... how I get that to work, but I'll leave it like that for now. I know the pulleys, I've got it to the point where I can have those rotate. Alright, so a winch handle... which is, there it is. Not a very big piece, there we go. Alright, cool. Well, I got these three parts, I guess, as far as the work with here. So we gotta put our default specular onto it. Go into our game files. Data, share, default specular. Yes, please. And then go ahead and put the vehicle shader to it. Now, for these black parts, I think I had a rubber material to that. I'm going to take a look here again, see what I did put on there previously. This one had a 5 to it. Yeah, I think that's the rubber, if I do remember right. So it's all zeros, I guess, as far as the color map, because we wanted black. 0 represents black as far as on the RGB scale. White would be, no, all ones would be white. So, alright, so all 0s and 5. Very cool. Let's do that. I put the vehicle shader to it. Okay. And make sure we put the color mask. Turns it that pukey looking yellow, I guess as far as we expect. And then just 0 all these colors out. With a material type of 5, which is rubber. It's a rubber plastic type deal. So in comparison to the number 4, where it's a metallic metal type of look to it. I'm just going by memory, I guess, as far as all these goes. There is a diagram, I guess, as far as for the different materials. I guess as far as in the, based on this, I just happen to remember what they are. Yes. I go into here, so see how it's got all these different names. Excuse me. So the 4 that we applied to the other piece there should be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a copper, whereas this one is a galvanized metal. And this should be, so it's either, I think it's a galvanized metal, so I think it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So we put copper to it, and we're applying, I think that's the way the numbers go if I do remember them right. That's my loose memory, I guess, as far as how that, dang it, words are getting all tangled up here. Okay. Anywho, that's kind of rough, I guess, as far as we go. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it should be this rubber that I've got applied to these black parts anyway. Snagged her, dang it. Alright. I had to rearrange some of my cables here. Cables were being a little bit stubborn. Anywho, so we got that applied the way we want it. So that's got material 5. Okay, so what we should be able to do at this point, I already did all of that. Yep, so we'll just save this as a binary. Desktop. I'm gonna go right over part of this one. This is my previous export from Blender, which doesn't initially have the shapes file to it, so that's why I do binary. Let's save it. Okay, that's just to satisfy GE. Whenever you save it as binary, it just assumes whatever you didn't save it as a normal i3D with the shapes file. The shapes file is already produced when you do binary, so I'm just satisfying the editor just as far as just say yes to that. Alright, so there we go. Now we should have the means to bring these into here. Our black parts. And those should initially fall right into position. So there's our winch handle. We got our motor belt. And our chain belt. Cool. Nice. So we need to bring those into our main visuals. Do the same. Yep. Go ahead and rename this one. So go ahead and cut that. Paste that into our main visuals. we should have to do is bring this down 0.3. So this is going to be 0.96. Perfect. And then our motor belt. Put that into here. Motor belt. That guy. Bring that down by 0.3, so that's going to be 0.95. Voila. This guy out. I'm already seeing I might have to make a further adjustment as far as this belt if I want that to move. Yeah, seeing that. Okay, so we got the rotation here for that, and also for these for our chain draft, we got that rotation. I may not need to have the bolt or the belt to actually move. That can stay stationary. If I can get the pulley to move, you'll actually see that. The black would be kind of hard to see that it's actually moving, because that's what I kind of think of it as far as one. Unless you have some, you had some slop, I guess, as far as in the belt, which isn't really all that, unless I do like a skin mesh. That's about the only way I could maybe get the slop in the belt, like, as far as it's turning. I don't know if I want to go into it that far, I guess, as far as okay, so this should be the old one. Yeah. Get that one out. Alright, and then we got oh, cool. Gotta make sure I get all the old ones out of there. So we got this, we got two parts that are paintable, which is the motor part, and then our final piece to our winch, which is up here. That's the next two parts we need to get out of Blender. Is that everything? Oh, in fact, we still gotta get the handle still in place. Let's do that. Let's cut that, and our winch handle is going to go into here. And then where the heck is that bad boy? Oh, I didn't take the old. Oh, that's right. I was keeping that in there for reference. So this is the old one. Okay, that's what I was doing now. Wait a minute, where's the winch body? What the heck? Now saw me put that into place. That's for the wheel. Did I put that in the wrong spot? Oh, I did. Whoopsie. That's in the wrong one. Shoot. Alright, hold on. Let me get this. I did not mean to do that. Let's do this. Alright, put that back there for a second. I put this new one in the wrong sneaking place. Yep, I'm gonna get this out of here. Let's copy that into our new lower frame. Yeah. That's gonna go. That's going to be in the upper frame. Oh, I gotta make sure getting these in the right spot, otherwise my nodes aren't gonna line up. Upper frame. Yeah, that is in the upper frame. And that's gonna go below the wheels, okay. Got it. All about placement in this when it comes to this, because if we don't get it in the right spot, it's not going to work like we're expecting it to. The positions of these things are definitely going to make a difference. Whether or not I'll have this animated is yet to be seen. I had hoped I could get something working, I guess, as far as with seeing how like the yarders work in the Platinum expansion for Farm Simulator 22. They do have the workings of lines that are actually interactable in a way. There's some animation, I guess, as far as with the lines that actually will grab the trees, the logs, or whatever that you cut down. It's pretty neat, I guess, as far as how it works there. I was kind of hoping maybe something with this I could use the cable. You could have a cable that will stretch from this winch. Because this here, all that runs is these flippers, as far as to push the bale. And then this winch here would actually crank, you know, the height of the conveyor up or down. So as it sits right now, I don't have any of that implemented to it. It's still yet to be seen what I can work out with that. I didn't want to have to make this required, I guess, as far as to have the Platinum expansion for it, but I have noticed that there is that functionality for those types of specializations on equipment for with the Platinum expansion. I'm trying to use some of that, again, what's available in the Platinum expansion, but not have it required to use that. You know, so there may be some lack of specialization on this deal because of that. All right, so we got that in the right spot now. Now I can take our handle, that, and put it our upper frame. There. Now I had the handle as the very last piece there, so we'll have to still bring in the base, which is paintable. That's a paintable part. So definitely need to make sure we get that in the right spot. That'll be next. Alright, so handle, let's make sure our handle's in right. I have to adjust that. Sure do. All this clipping we're getting is kind of annoying. And part of the reason why I'm having to do this because I've got sub transforms, I guess, as far as for all this. I don't have that in Blender. There's still kind of just in one hierarchy. There's no sub transforms, I guess, as far as to it in here. So that's why I'm having to adjust it to get it into the proper sub transforms here, because we do have some parts are moving, some are not. So to be able to segregate those moving parts out from the rest, that's part of the reason why we have to do that. If we had it all just in one big chunk there, we wouldn't be able to manipulate those individually. We'd have other parts that are affected, I guess, as far as in much the same way that just the one part. So. Oh, this clipping is driving me nuts. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So let's go ahead. Alright, we only got the one more part to that, which is the base for the winch. I had to bring in, so that should be good. So we did get all of our black parts in as far as our belts, or 2 belts, and the handle. That's good. Now all we got left is those 2 parts for our paintable motor and the winch body. Or is the winch base, I should say. The body is actually what contains the workings of the winch cable itself. Alright, so let's do that next. Did I save this here? I don't think I did yet. These are my black parts. We did our gray parts, we'll do our black parts, so we'll save this one. Let's do that. We'll save this one as a new Blender file, and we'll call this conveyor belt black parts. That'll work. And let's just confirm it did save that. And there's our Blender file. Nice. Cool beans. Now we can do a new. Reopen up our main Blender file. It has all of our parts. So yeah, because I got it all like this, I don't have the sub-translates. Now I came to the conclusion that I did need those sub-transforms or sub-translates, I guess, as far as based on how I want to animate things. I just didn't apply it in here. I could do that in Blender as well, as far as the sub-translate it, but and that's the only other reason why I'm having to move them around in Giants Editor from where they were in Blender. That's just for a little bit of clarity. So it's not going to be, at this point, a one-to-one representation of what's in Blender in comparison to what's in Giants Editor. Alright, so we need those 2 parts that are paintable. So the main motor body and the winch base. So let's clear out the ones we don't need. We don't need that. We already did our chain and our motor belt. That shaft. Don't need that. Don't need that. That's our hubs for our wheels. And we don't need that. Don't need the main shaft. Motor 2 we got. That's the part that stays static, metallic gray. Belt we just did. Motor pulley we already did. Motor shape we do need to keep. We don't need these sections. Those are already done. Oh, none of those. Nope. Top gear is already done. Winch base. Okay, there's the other piece we need there. So we don't need the body. And we don't need the handle. Just those 2. All we need there. So we'll go ahead and let me do something real quick. We'll check this. Yep, so we're at color mat 0. And this is a different material shape. This is for paint, which I already have established in our main i3D here. So anything that's red is going to have that paint color to it, like so. So yeah, these are just the 2 remaining parts that I want to be able to change on that particular material name on color mat 0. Yep, so it's mostly just all red. So on the RGB scale, 1 is red, 32 is a painted metal, as far as the material number. So again, just going by memory of that. I use a lot of these. I just kind of remember photogenic memory, I guess, as far as when you use them enough times, you just tend to remember where they're at. So we got our color mat 0 location, I guess, as far as already established. That's good. So we shouldn't have to do anything more with the material editor in here. We've already got it on now 32. If we just kind of count through these, you can get a rough idea. It should be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1 and 2. It's coming up bronze, so I guess it's, is this bronze? I guess, I'm not sure. Yeah, that should roughly be, actually we didn't include these in here. It's one of these anyway. I might have actually miscounted the numbering on theirs, but there's more than 32. I want to say it's probably, I forget which one it is. I just happen to know which one it is. But instead of actually applying that material number, I guess as far as in here, and just leaving it covered, I can already just apply it right here in Giants Editor. As long as you know the number, you can just apply the number directly here in Giants Editor. But it can be done prior to i3D export, I guess as far as right from Blender. I just take the approach of applying it this way, right directly in Giants Editor. Okay. Anywho, so we got, those are already established. This material is already established in here, so once I bring that in here, it's gonna inherit, I guess, as far as that. But I still have to make sure prior to export that it has that appropriate material name to it with that color mat 0, otherwise it will not work properly. Okay. Double check. Yep, so we got that paint mat just like we have in Giants Editor, as well as our location of color mat 0 right there. So we're all good to go. Now we should be able to export this out as an i3D right to the desktop, and let's do this as painted parts. That'll work. That right to the desktop, and we'll go the same motion we did for the black parts. Alright, so it'd be on my desktop and get that loaded up. Yep, there's your bite. Do 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 do. Alright, so there's our two parts. Let's focus in on that and make sure. So yeah, they should come up this shiny chromey looking color for now. Our winch base there. Yep, that works. So these are paintable parts. So I just want to get these initially renamed like so. And let's do alright. Cool. Now I can apply this, the rest of this, as far as any either two of these parts, and it should inherit that. So we'll take this off. And off. A lot of these features can be applied prior to i3D export from Blender. I get lazy. I just don't mind it. It's not that difficult as far as you just have to remember to do it here in Giants Editor is all. Alright, so we need to get the default specular applied to this. That's the minimum that you need to have to put the vehicle shader to it. So whether you've got a customized specular as far as that has dirt layers to it, or just use the default specular that's already in the game, which is what we're using. In any case, it needs to have some type of specular to it. At minimum, I guess, as far as to apply the vehicle shader. Okay. We'll go vehicle shader. Go. Now we just need the color mask. And this is how we can confirm that it's right. When it usually turns this pukey looking yellow, then you know that color mask applied. So not only going by what we saw in here, color mat 0, as far as our material selector, we can confirm it further, I guess, as far as in here. Once we apply the color mask, it makes it initially this yellow, pukey yellow. So we're going to change these to, let me see how I had those set in here. I know 32 is the material number. Sections here, so I had it as just 1. Just want to confirm here real quick. So 1 just being red, and then 00 with 32. I'll do the same thing on these here. So on color map 0, we want to make this first, which is representative of red, and make these other two 0, which is green and blue. Okay, and then we make this material as 32. And there we have it. Now if we apply a light to this, or to save this up there, we can see it's like a painted metal sorts there. Makes it kind of a glossy painted metal type of thing. That's part of applying that 32 material ID to it. Alright, so that's everything we need there. Cool. Go ahead and save this as a binary desktop. And we'll just use our i3D that we exported from Blender. Do that as binary. Yes. And then that's all. Yeah. Cool. Alright, now we can bring that into here. That's our painted parts. Now it should initially load these into position, but we're going to probably have to adjust them just as we have the other parts. And it's mainly because, again, two reasons. The way I've had them all in that main Blender file, as far as just all in with no sub transforms or anything, but also because I found out by boo-boo on my part, I guess, as far as I did not zero this back out. But once I started getting these all into place here, I've got everything where I want it to be, so I'm not going to, if I were to adjust this at 0 at this point, it's going to throw everything off within this translate. I don't want to do that. They'll call me lazy, but normally that's what you want to do. The fact that our main form, our very top one, is at 0, that should be fine. Should be fine. All right, so we need to get our motor, so let's cut this guy, put that into our main visual transform. So this one, eventually I'm just going to get that one out of here. This is our new lower frame right there. So let's get our motor into here. Okay, and we should have to bring that down by 3, so this will be a 0.1. Like so. Nice, and we'll put that one right there and get this old one out of there. Okay. And then we just got our winch base left. It's right over here. Our winch base. That guy. That needs to go into our upper frame in here. Right in here. We want this all to be able to move with this part of the upper frame. So this part is going to move slightly, I guess, as far as we'll be able to test this all out in game, I guess, as far as to confirm that. We need to confirm some things in our XML too to make sure we got those all correct. As far as our translates and rotates and so on and so forth. Alright, so that base that's going to be the very first of the winch. Okay, cool. I want to put that up above the body. And we'll just bring that down. That in position manually. Alright, let me minimize that. I think we're in good shape there. Okay, so if we go to this one. Yeah, we're in good shape. I think we can go ahead and get this one right out now. Now, that should end up back to 004. Yep, that's, I already know. From what I have in my XML anyway, that's what's the reference here is our lower frame, which is 004. So if we search for this node in our XML, let's go to that real quick. That part is definitely something we need to have in the right spot. Which is this right here. So this one's going to have a certain translate, so I need to make sure that these rotates in here. I did have to make some adjustments to it previously. So that line, those are rotate max and min on that part, the lower frame. So let me double check that and make sure that's right. Yep, so there's our min rotate on the X, and that's going to allow to move at a negative 45, was it? Yep, and that's all on the X-axis. So if we check it, should be able to go minus 45, 0.45. Nope, I think it was just 45. Oops, count on it. Minus 45. Yep, so it's going to be able to move that much. Now, the other part of the frame, which is this upper frame, is going to be able to move a maximum at 90 degrees. So like this. Like so. So, picture, if you will, when this is in motion, this actually gets shoved up. So the pivot, the main pivot for the rest of this section here, will pivot on this down here. When this shifts like this to get into its max extent there, its max range, this will lift this whole conveyor up by that much. That's all in key, and we'll be able to test all that. So I already checked this earlier, so that seems to be what I've already got applied here in our XML. So for this other part, for the upper frame, which is this part, this part right here, which is 00400, and let me just reconfirm that. That's going to be this part right here is going to move. Oh, I actually did the wrong part, my bad. Let me readjust that. So not this level. Yep, this is why I'm double checking this to make sure. So what's going to actually be able to move at 90 degrees is this part. Like that. Yep. So that is confirmed here. So our 00400 is right here. That's going to have a max rotate at 90 degrees of what I currently have it set at. And then its resting rotate will be at 0. So if I put it back to 0, everything back to 0, that'll be this resting spot. And then if we put this lower frame back to this rotation, put that back to where it was, that's going to be the resting position. And then on these hubs, it'll actually have wheels. Yep, and that's already been previously done too. So for our wheels, it should be going by, there's our left and right. Those should be at this translate, this node. Let's double check that while we're at it. Okay, so this is where our wheels XML will load in. That's a separate XML file. Load those in separate. These are not something that is used by this in the game. Something customly designed. So we got our 00401, which is this. This is where the wheel will load into, which is exactly where we have that at. So what's going to be critical is to see how these will actually, the wheels will actually position themselves on these hubs. If we got this in the right position, our wheels should encompass this hub, which should also have, hopefully, the hub lugs, the hub bolts, I guess, as far as protruding. We'll see how this works. These are some of the things we'll be able to test out in game. So I've already previously done that by doing the replace function, as far as to get those wheels into that position. So I won't go too much into that and bore everybody to death. But there is a means, as far as to bring the physical item in. Once you get it into position there, you can actually use a replace function, which is, I'll just go through the motions here real quick. Oh, my brain's fried. Oh my goodness, my brain's fried. Anyway, it is using the replace function. My brain can't think right now. I don't want to think about it. It's already been done, but just to kind of give a loose thing with that, I guess, as far as how we get those in there. So we don't actually put the wheels themselves, I guess, as far as into our deal. We have them dynamically loaded based on our XML here. So we got an XML within an XML, if that makes sense. So that I can actually show over here. So for our bale conveyor, which is our mod folder, we have a separate folder for wheels. There's the XML it loads, and this is the item that will actually load in. Okay. I've already done all that work just as far as to get that going there, so this should work hopefully fine once we play test it. Okay. I think that's all the parts that we need in place. So we already took off that other lower frame. All of our sections are in place. That's good. I think what else we'll do here is we'll go ahead and save this scene for this Blender file, I guess, as far as for all of our other painted parts. Let's save this as, we'll do bale conveyor. I'll have separate Blender files to be able to access these different painted and non-painted parts, just for ease of access. Alright, so we'll do this as other painted parts. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, that'll work. And let's confirm it did save that. Where's my bale conveyor stuff? So that should be other painted parts right there. So there's that Blender file. Cool beans. Alright, so just to make sure we got that saved. So we this should all be ready to go to be able to test it out. Yeah. Let's get this into position. So checking our XML to make sure the translates and the rotates are good, based on the proper node locations. That's all been confirmed. I can take the light out of this. Don't need that. Alright, so let's go ahead and I think what I am going to do. Okay, no, that'll be fine. So I do already have a zip for this bale conveyor prior to testing. I can always revert back to this. If something goes wrong, I can always re-unpack this one and start over with my mod folder. So there shouldn't be anything else need to do with that. So we'll just go ahead and save our new i3D in our mod folder before we zip it up, and we have that back up already. When I zip it up, I'll just keep it in a separate location so it doesn't step on my backup. Cool. Alright, cool. Yeah. We'll do the file, save as, go to our mods, mine, progress. And we'll go into here, and let's save this one up as a i3D. Yes, please. Alright. Cool. We'll go ahead and close this out. We're good to go for that. And then all we need to do is just zip our mod folder up, go in the game, and we'll test it out. Alright, there's our new zip. And I'm going to put this right to the desktop. Over here. Cool. And we'll get that moved over. Oh, actually, let me switch this over and we'll get some stuff swapped over into our our games mod folder, and we'll kind of go from there. Oh, I got cables tangled up here. Hold on. Bear with me. I still got to do some cleanup here, I guess, as far as from Saturday. I didn't do squat for Easter Sunday there, folks. I don't know how you all are, but yeah, I totally got lazy, I guess, as far as on yesterday for Easter Sunday. I didn't do it. Doggone thing. Alright, cool. Alright, let's get this back up here. Get that out of the way there. Got a little bit of noise here. It's just me just moving stuff around. Not a big deal. Don't mind me. Okay, so I think we got everything where we want it to be. I think. Alrighty then. Alright, I did not get my folders opened up here. Let me go ahead and get my appropriate folders opened up here on our game mod folder and such. Then we'll switch this over and I'll show you what's going on. So we got progress. Actually, that's not what I need there. I need that there, and also up another folder. The Winder games. Farm Simulator 22. Mods folder. There we go. That's better. All right, let's switch this over. Now I'll see better what I got going on here. So this is my mods folder to where I want to test this out. I got a previous version in there, so we'll just be able to overwrite that one. So we want to copy this filler right over into our mods folder. That's our new zip. Alright, now we can just go into the game and try it out. Let me make sure I've got my... I'm not going to be using the wheel, but I always like to double check that I've got my wheel set to Farm Sim 22 so it doesn't crash or any crazy stuff like that. I don't want any initial crashes of the game and just immediately want to assume it's something wrong with the mod that we were trying to test out. That has happened to me lately. Alright, so let's do... Load up the game. Let's do it. This is the fun part as far as being able to test out how we did. Alright, we're already an hour in, or over an hour in. That's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. Hopefully we're having fun. If we're not having fun, then we're doing something wrong. Let me go ahead real quick though and run a 30-second ad before we get into the game. Just to keep the pre-rolls at bay. Apologize in advance, I guess, as far as for anybody that's not subbed to the channel. I'll let that run there real quick before I load up in the game. Okay. Just checking some things on my end here real quick before we go into the game. Hopefully that 30-second ad is about over with, if it isn't already. Okay. Always have to refresh it on my back end here, I guess, as far as to confirm, I guess, as far as the 30-second ad is done. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get right into the game. Load it up on a new save. New farmer on our Dairyland 4X map. I have done some more work on the Dairyland 4X. I don't have all the latest changes applied to this current version that we're loading up. A lot of it has to do with just some custom foliages and stuff like that. Nothing really major, but just fine tuning it is all. One of these days, maybe before summer comes in here, we'll have this map out there. Uh-oh. Oh, probably got. I didn't bring up the dev console. Seemed to be. We were hung up there for a second there. I'm gonna run through this here to make sure that we didn't have any warnings or errors. Let's double check to make sure we don't. Let's see. Rolling. So far, good. Good. There should be the one warning anyway for the animal food, which that's normal. That one's okay. That's the only warning that is prominent. I guess as far as in the load up. I guess as far as for the Dairyland 4X map, and it seemed to be much the same case for the FS19 version. Giant still hasn't fixed that issue. I guess as far as when you mess with the default game mechanics, I guess as far as for animal food, it doesn't like that, so it just tends to throw that warning that, hey, something doesn't line up here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and turn off while we're testing here. We don't need to have our autosave on, and let's test our bale conveyor. So we'll just do this right here at our main farm here. Starting in a new farmer, this is our main farm that we start with. I'll just move the store into the spot. That'll work. And let's go into the store. Now this is going to be under belts. As expected under belt system. And there should be. Make sure we don't have any errors. Nope. So we're good so far. Unanimous. Now, if we applied all the proper material selections, as far as with the vehicle shader, color mat 0, all that stuff on the different parts, we should have the option to be able to change the color of these parts. And so if we do all those change, I'm not seeing the winch. That's not changing properly. Okay. What about, nope. So we got a couple parts that aren't changing like they're supposed to. That was the last two parts that we put in there, so I'll have to check that. Yep, we'll have to check that to make sure that they didn't inherit, I guess, as far as that paint material. So these two parts for our motor and our winch base are not changing color. Okay, so we'll have to check that out. What about our secondary color, which would be the lower frame for the most part? Is that our John Deere color? So it looks like that's working well. As far as all the lower frame, how did our tires load in onto our hubs? Okay, so far, from what I can tell, they look good. And we're not getting any warnings or errors. That's always a good sign. Let's change our rim color, actually. You know what? I think I'm going to leave the rim color white, but let me change them here real quickly. Let's do them in offset color so I can actually tell how the hubs, instead of making them all the same color and not being able to tell what's off and what isn't. So yeah, we'll make it a contrasted color. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and lease that. That should put it right in the spot where I put the store. Okay, let's see how we turned out. And it looks like we might have a little bit of adjustment to make on our wheel location. So the wheel hub studs, I guess, as far as they're kind of loading in a little weird spot. Let me see what we got here. Oh crap, that's not what I wanted to do. So yeah, you can. This is actually something that's drivable, just like the conveyors that are in the game, the default ones. So it looks like we're not loading in where we want it to be. I might have to make some adjustments to the wheels. Let's check the other side too. Assuming the other side's going to be off just as much. So yeah, other than that winch base and the motor, I have to check out that color map for that to see, make sure. So the bolts should actually be lining up. So if we have to, we might have to do another replacement function, I guess, as far as the Giants editor, to make sure that our dynamically loaded wheels are going to load in onto the hubs properly. So apparently they are not where we expect them to be. We'll have to fix that. Nope, definitely not. So it looks like for the most part they're down and to the right, But instead of guessing that, we might use that replace function. So I might have to get back into doing that replace function just to get those in the right spot. That was more the reason, I guess, as far as I put that contrasting color to the rim, because if I made it all the same color, I wouldn't be able to tell as much. And that definitely points it out that we're not where we need to be on that. So let's take a look and see how our functionality of this conveyor works. Oh my goodness. Okay, something went wrong there. What in the world? Okay. Screwed something up there. Alright, let's reset that. I don't know what happened there. Alright, this is why we play test, to see what where our problems are. Come on now. Let me out. There we go. Why in the heck did it do that? Alright, let's reset that. If it'll let me reset it. Where's that bad boy at? That's our... I don't know if it's gonna... Got a lot of stuff in this area, so I don't know if it's gonna... Let me reset that. Probably not. Son of a gun. Alright, oh shoot. Let's go into... What is that other menu you go into? I forget now. First, we'll be able to reset. You can go here. And... I forgot how to do it. I forgot how to do it now. Brain freeze. Brain fart. This is how overloaded my brain is right now today. It's been one of those days. Just gotta remember how to do that now. But when you're not able to select it this way... come on now. Nope, I don't want to do that. Where the heck is it that you reset? Oh, I think I know. Oh, we gotta go this way. So all of our own items, there we go. We should be able to reset that. Or I can just go ahead and return and buy another one. Let's do that. Yep. We'll just do it that way. So I don't know why it did that. We're gonna try this again. That's bugging me that I can't remember how to... What is that menu you have to go into to reset? You're not able to click on it in the PDA? If anybody knows, let me know. My brain's fried right now. Let me go ahead back into here. Let's repurchase that. So we're good up until we tried to actually use it, as far as to adjust the height of it. Alright, so we'll just leave it that color, that'll be fine. We already know we got the two parts that aren't inheriting, I guess, as far as be paintable. Okay. Find out what's going on with that one. So we'll just leave it this default color. Let's jump into it. Alright, so yeah, something's not working there, so I don't know what's happening. It's just snapping all out of place there, so need to figure out what's going on with that. It does let me move it. So the one immediately flips. Okay. Well, I'll be dang. Okay. So it does move. That's really strange. So it's that one part. That would be the... So it's upside down right now. Okay. I think I get what's happening, I think. We got a couple things, I guess, as far as to check out. Both in our XML and just the way our... yeah, our vehicle shader is to those two parts, the motor part and that, so we'll have to check that. So, okay. We'll consider that to be a test number one. That's test number 1. Alright, let's close this out. Let me switch this back over. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of things that we've come to find are problems. So I don't think there's... Let me open up our baler conveyor here. Let's see what's going on here. So something I guess I didn't take a look at, the two last parts that we put in for our motor and our winch base. I didn't double check and confirm that it did have the proper material name to it. It should have, but based on the way it's responding in the game, it's probably not right. Let's see here. And part of the reason why I think that might be the case is because the albedo color might not have been the same as our sections. I think I know what I can do to remedy that. So that one's that way. So our motor... that should both be the same. I wonder if it's showing that as two separate deals though, maybe? Okay. That's all good there. Oh, wait a minute. I might not have... Let me check and see all these settings are the same. That might be the difference right there. So what I didn't have is 1 and 1 on that one. So it's probably recognizing this paint mat for the motor and the winch base as a separate paint mat. That's what's happening. So there's another way you can go about this, just to confirm. Let me try it this way first before I... so I'm going to change these two to 1. I think that's probably the only thing that's... So what it's basically doing in as far as the i3D construct is it's probably got 2 different paint materials, simply because I didn't have these values set the same as our sections here. So our sections here had this set up here. I had the other paint material, I guess, as far as set different. So it's basically reading it as 2 separate paint matte paint materials. So I can confirm that by going into the i3D like this and see how many paint underscore mats we have. More than likely we're going to have 2. And this is before I save the i3D making that adjustment in Giants Editor. So if I look for it this way, see, yep, that's exactly what's happening. So there's 2 different paint materials because one was set up with the RDT. You know how the difference is right here? But if something is as simple as that, I can change that in the i3D here, and then once I reload that in there, or I can just adjust it in Giants Editor. Either way, I want this material to be 1, not 2 separate ones. That's probably why it's not allowing it, I guess, as far as to be painted in the store. So what I'll do, I'm gonna close this out and just make the adjustment in here. Another thing I can do is actually take the material name that I know is correct, which is this one, and actually apply that to here. So either I do it this way, I think just to make sure I get rid of this material ID altogether, I'm just going to inherit this one here, which I know is correct. This is the one I know I want it to read because it was set properly, and that's based on what I was able to observe in Giants Editor prior to closing that out. So I'm going to just apply this material ID to this one. I'm not going to completely delete this, right, because that's still applying, I guess, as far as for those 2 parts. We just want the editor and the Giants engine, I guess, as far as to read that as 1. So the one way we can force it to do that, like this, leaving both lines, that's probably the most critical thing. Don't be too quick as far as to just delete this out, because you don't want that, because this material is still applied to parts. So if you were to delete that out there completely to have it pick this up there, it would just turn white. You know, it's not going to apply the appropriate material to it. You don't want it to do that. So we're gonna force it, I guess, as far as to read these two as one. So once we open this up in the editor and save it, we'll be able to confirm that in our opening the i3D up in Notepad++ that there's only one paint material as far as for our painted parts. Okay, so let's save this way. I've made this mistake more times than I care to count, I guess, as far as to completely just remove, I guess, as far as the material I don't want it to use, so that it wouldn't inherit automatically. That it doesn't work that way, at least in my experience. Alright, so we're going to close that. Now we're going to reopen it up in the Giants editor, now that we saved that i3D in Notepad++. Now what should happen, and we can also confirm in the Giants editor that those parts will change color just as far as properly. Let's give it a second here to load up. Alright, so now let's focus on those parts that were not changing color. So like this motor. Okay. Alright, what is it giving me for a warning? Okay, so that did not work the way I was hoping. Oh, I know what I forgot to, I know what I forgot to do. So there's two places that you have to change it. I only changed it in one spot. Alright, so hold on. I got ahead of my own self. So when you change the value, so the one that we were trying to get it to ignore, we got to change that material ID, I guess, as far as what it's used there. So we got to search for second here. So black mat, we need to search for 174. That was the one we were trying to get it to ignore. I'll copy this. Actually, let's do it this way. We'll do a search, find. All I got to do is add an S to this and have it look for 174. That was the one that we wanted it to ignore. And look to see which parts, which should be that base, winch base. Change this to 116. That's the one we wanted to read. So this was the other part, I guess I forgot to mention. So there should be also the motor. Yep. We'll change these to 116. And we've already made the change, I guess, as far as above. Even though they're two separate for the time being, it's going to tell it once we load in the Giants editor that you want to read that material. Okay. Again, you still want to maintain this for clarity up here. If there's the two and you're just apply the same material to both, and then carry that down to the parts that it's actually applied to. That's the part I missed, and we came back to do that, so that's why it was giving me a warning and not actually applying any material whatsoever to those parts, because I didn't carry it down to those parts that actually have that material ID. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that. Now we shouldn't get that. Have that warning. So let's go here. Now we can load it up in Giants editor. It should be fine now. All these things that we do are always in theory, but always the hope that it's going to be fine. Alright, so it is loading up. We have no warnings, so that's a very good sign. Appreciate the alert, TGB. No, TGB was playing some Mod Bazoo there earlier. Hope the Mod Bazoo went well. We'll be getting into that on Wednesday over here on the channel for those that are looking forward to that. Got some new updates, I guess, as far as in there. Courtesy of Santa Goat. I guess you can kind of call it our little Easter present, I guess, as far as for... I think he did that last year too, I guess, as far as with the Easter eggs. So we got another update, I guess, as far as on our Easter. It's pretty cool. Alright, let's see if our parts actually work the way we expect it to now. So our motor part in particular, let's focus on that. And if we go to onto that, actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually select one of these sections like this, because that should have the same material, right? So if we change the color here manually, this should change along with it, as far as our motor part right there. If we did this right, it should work. Okay. So So if we go like this, see now it all changes. That should do the same thing for our. Should do the same thing for our winch base too. Is over here. That's on color mat 0. Yeah, that all changes color now. That should be all in the same material ID now. Let's put that back to 1. Alright, we should be good to go on that now. Now if we save this, we'll put this into position first. There's some other things we need to still look at, I guess, as far as to find out why when we go to change the height of it, it tends to flop over on itself. Got something going on with that. And that's part of the reason why I had that backup of the zip there. In case crazy stuff like that it happens to go wrong, we got something else to revert back to. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this. We got at least the one issue resolved. Okay, now that we've saved it, I'm going to take a look in the Notepad++. Like this, we should only have one instance of paint material. If we look down in here, we only got the one reference to it now. Now, paint 2 is the design 2, so that's going to be like our lower frame. That's totally separate material. See, now we only have one material design, I guess, as far as for our main paintable parts. So this new material ID that we just saved the i3D and Giants editor, it totally encompasses, I guess, as far as we told that, I guess, as far as only read the one paint material. That's what we got now. Sweet, so we're all good to go there. Now we need to take a look at what the heck is going on with our functioning parts here. So when we tried to lift it up, it totally flipped it upside down. So basically what was happening, I guess I need to make sure that I don't have any collisions or rigid body where they shouldn't be. Basically what it comes down to, which, nope, I don't have any in there. Okay. Alright. That should all be good to go. Huh. I'm thinking it has something to do. Honestly, let me go down here real quick. This minus 45 on this one here, I think, is not correct. I think that needs to be a positive 45 now. I think. So I think what it's doing when we lift it, try to lift it up, it's pushing it into the ground, which flips it over the way it does. So I had previously had a minus 45. With the way I've got it now, I think it needs to be a positive 45. Let me just check that real quick. Okay, so that would be on a lower frame. So does that need to be a positive 0.50, 0.45? Okay, what do I got it as? Is it just 45? Like that. I think that's the way it needs to go. I think that needs to be a positive value, not a negative value. Pretty sure. So let me look and see what I had previously. I think that's what it's got to happen. Yeah. This needs to be a positive 45, not a negative. Yeah, because the way I was witnessing it, I'm sure you probably all seen it too. Having it at the negative 45, like I had it there prior to the adjustment, it was going down into the ground like this and was just flopping it over, just flipping it over end for end. That's not what we want it to do. Right? So we want it to go... Let's just double check and see where it is at full extent. Full 45. And our upper frame, which is this one, and it's going to be this part, is going to be at 90 degrees. Like that. Now, I think that's right. Now we have to picture, we're only moving these two parts here. What's going to happen is because there's collision on this part, that's going to lift with it. So this should remain on the ground. So we almost have to picture with how much we're moving this up there. This is still going to be on the ground, so it's going to be pushing on the ground. We don't have that mechanic as far as to go by. So here's where the wheels are. When that gets pushed up, when we use our right mouse button, I guess as far as to lift that up, it's going to push against the ground, which is going to allow to push this whole thing up, and then this is going to basically hold it up. So we don't have that to go by, but I think that should be where we need it to be. Alright, so I just had to change it from a -45 to a positive. We'll try that out and see what happens. Let's get this back to where it needs to be. So we'll go 0. Actually put that back to this value. Alright. Put that like that. Cool. So that's our resting position. Okay. Cool. So it was just really just came down to an XML. We had a little bit of a I3D adjustment as far as that color mat, I guess as far as for our parts, and also XML edit, I guess as far as to change that. Alright, cool. So we'll just go ahead and save this again. I don't really need to save it again, but I'm going to go ahead and save it again just for clarity. Let's close that out. And I do have to resave our XML. I still have this commented out from my previous test. Alright, so let's do save on that, and then we'll just rezip this bad boy with our adjustments and archive it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this onto our desktop. Alright, now we'll bring that over to our mod folder. Let's switch it over. Alright, so all we need to do is just copy this guy from our desktop, put it in our mods folder. Yes, I want to replace that. I'm going to go test this one out. This is always the fun part, I feel. Being able to test out and see how well we screwed it up or not. There's test number 2. Now I'm kind of hoping to get a little bit of play testing in with the map. I'll need to get the new map, as far as the adjustments that I made there, I'll get that copied over to our mods folder, but that would be the bulk of it. Wouldn't take too long. Okay, so we got our bale conveyor to test out. Let's load that up. Bring up the console here to make sure we don't continue not to have any warnings or errors. So we didn't see any other warnings or errors, any at all, I guess, as far as for that bale conveyor. It was just and you won't necessarily get errors. So like when you'll get the visual cues, like, so the fact that we see it reacting the way it is, that's just kind of a visual cue. It's not going to show up anything in the error log or the dev log as far as what the problem is. You just have to kind of know what you're doing as far as in your XML, as far as with the translates and stuff, to remedy that. So stuff like that, that's visual, that happens in game, isn't necessarily going to tell you any problem in the log. So that's something to take into account. It's not going to tell you. The only thing that's going to show in the log is stuff that isn't related, I guess, as far as to XML. Now, if you've totally messed up as far as the structure of the XML, for it to understand what you wanted to do, then yeah, definitely you would see something in the log. So the fact that we don't see anything in the log related to how our XML is designed for the functionality of this, that's we've got that much figured out, at least anyway. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn off our autosave while we're testing. Don't need that, and I don't even need to test it over here. I'm just going to load it up over here at the store and just go from there. So let's go right to the store, under our belt systems, like so. So it's still all loading in, no errors. That's always good. Now we've already confirmed in Giant's Editor that our parts for the motor and the winch base, we're turning color on our main color. So let's try it again here. I did not make the adjustment to the wheels just yet. That's still something I still need to do. Let's make it John Deere green. Yep, so our motor is changing color. And our winch base is changing color. Alright, we already confirmed that our lower frame is changing color. Let's do that. Sweet. That's still working good. I still got to make the adjustment to the placement of the wheels. They're not lined up onto the hubs just right, so we'll get that corrected. They do load in. That's definitely a huge plus, because as far as if the wheels do load in, they're just not loading in properly onto the hub. Okay, so we'll go ahead and lease that guy. And that should be right at the store here. Sweet. So let's see if we fixed our issue. So we don't get an initial issue while it's resting. So it's loading in good that way. So all of our parts that we brought in, I guess as far as have the proper material. As far as our gray parts are nice, that shiny metal color. That's cool. Wait, are these wheels actually loading in? Nope, they are still off. Okay. We do got still some adjustment, I guess, as far as on that. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Alright, let's jump into this thing and see how it works now. Oh, okay. What do we got now? So, it's still moving that way, so it's not flipping it over, so that's partially good. But for some reason, that main base... So this is the upper arm that I'm moving right now. That works like it's supposed to. It's that initial movement upwards, it's still not... Yeah, that's not working right. Okay. So we're going in the right direction, I feel. It's just, we gotta figure out what that magic number needs to be. Well, yeah, this is definitely moving the way we want it to. As far as to be able to shove our conveyor up. We don't want it to put the wheels up in the air like that. So that's something else we still gotta figure out. It should be pushing against the ground, in theory, as we move it up, so that we can move this piece here that's currently moving. It's just not doing that for some reason. Okay. Is this gonna let me even put it into the resting position? Nope. Alright, so yeah, definitely something screwed up on that. Alright, so call that one good. So we'll, a little bit at a time. This is why we tend to play test stuff to see. The fun part is always trying to troubleshoot as far as what's going on. Alright, so let's switch this back over. Okay, so we still got some things to figure out as to why it's doing that with our lower frame in particular. So we're in the right area, I guess, as far as what we need to adjust. I wonder if I got a flip-flop to rotate max and minimum, I wonder. I think I might try it that way. So this would have to be, max would be 45. I think that's might be it. We're going to try that next. Yeah. I'm going to flip-flop these here. So this would be the resting position. Okay. And then this will be max 45. Let's try it this way and see what happens. I know it's got to be one way or the other. I'm trying to picture in my head, because we do have what we need to work with us as far as the actual collidable ground, as far as over the map, to help keep it planted on its wheels, but to allow the upper arm to be able to push the conveyor up. That's basically what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, we're going to try that out. So it's all XML edit for now. Once we get this figured out, if we can get this one figured out, and then we'll worry about getting the wheels in the proper position on the hub. The fact that they load in with no errors is definitely a positive thing. Alright, so we did save that. Alright, cool. Let's re-zip this. Okay. Like that. We'll put that to our desktop. Put that over here. Off screen. Yep, we'll write that. And let's bring it over to our mods folder. Let's switch this back over. Alright, let's bring our new zip over to... And you know, this studio is a absolute disaster. I need to do a major cleaning up in here. But we'll show. Alright, so let me get that off the desktop. Which is right there. Copy that, and we'll paste this to our mods folder. We'll write that bad boy, yes. Alright, let's load the game up and try it again. Let's try it again. Try again. I'm kind of almost wondering if I need to put any rotation into that very lower frame at all. I know I did have some before, and that was from a previous design that I had to it, but okay, so we want to go into our Dairyland 4X. Very cool. Load up the dev console. Cheers for anybody that's drinking. Man, already 2 hours. Yeah. Pac-Man 1618, welcome on in. Appreciate the follow. Alright, so no additional warnings or errors. That's good. Always good, always good. Hopefully it remains to be the case, I guess, as far as when we bring in our new map, you know, as far as our latest updates to the map. So let me turn off autosave. And load in. Okay, let's bring in our bale conveyor. Over here under belt systems. Bring it on in. I'm just gonna leave it that color. I already confirmed that the color options do work just fine. Load that in the store, and that should be right over here. Let's see how we did this time. So the resting position still loading in correctly. Okay. Alright. So how does this one work? Okay, so that part's moving, but it's not pushing it up. That's it. Ain't that a bummer? Okay, so when we go this way. Okay. So I got it backwards. So I do still need the minus 45 to be able to push that up. So I'm pulling down, I guess, as far as on the right mouse. So I need to go the opposite direction. This is totally backwards from when I had this. So that's why I had the minus 45 to help that push up. The problem was it was actually pushing the whole thing, to include the wheels, off the ground. I don't want it to do that. So this is essentially what we want it to do, only in the other direction. Be able to move. Okay. Okay. You kind of get the idea as far as how what it's supposed to do. Is supposed to push the wheels against the ground, to be able to lift that whole part that's red basically up. So then you have the motion, the range of the upper arm to help support it up there. It's just going the wrong way at this point. Yeah, if you're noticing the blinking trees, it's not a problem with the trees. It's just my graphic settings. So if you're noticing the trees kind of blinking, they're default Giants elm trees, but yeah, it's just my graphics setting. I've been screwing around, I guess, as far as with the graphic settings, and yeah, I need to still do some work on that. Alright, so I think I got what we need to do next. So let's close this out. We got the right idea. We're monkeying with the right parts. It's just getting them to do what we want them to do. Alright, let's switch this back over. Okay. Get right back into it. I'm gonna go ahead and load up the i3D real quick, and then we'll take a look at the XML again. So we've already made 2 adjustments so far, and both haven't resolved, I guess, as far as in the proper adjustment. So what we've got going on here. So this is our resting position, just like that. All right. Now, if we take a look at the parts involved with what's moving with the click and drag, I guess, as far as of the right mouse button, right? That's what we got going on here with the crane arm 2 rotate. That is basically your right mouse. So holding down right mouse, right, and being able to drag that. That's the same motion that you would use, I guess, as far as with front loader and or crane arm. Hence the term that's in here. So there might be another part here that I'm not taking into consideration. So we got our 0, 1, 0, 0. I might end up putting this back to where I had it before. If we do, because I think there might be this part here that I'm not taking into consideration here. So we got a rotation axis. That's going to be on the Z. 0, 1, 0, 0. That's why I loaded this back up. So 0, 1, 0, 0 is going to be our wheels. Huh? That should not have changed. That really should not have changed. Yeah, we should be good to go on that there. So our wheels should definitely be okay. 0, 1, 0, 0. So that's going to be this one right here, 0, 1, 0, 0. That should still be in the right spot. Okay, so we shouldn't have to mess with that. Just going back through here to make sure that I'm not missing some of our areas here. So these are all related to those wheels as far as the pivot on that. Okay, so that's all still good. That's still relevant. Let's see, 004. Acceleration, rotation max. So 0 and 90. Let me double check this. So this is on the upper arm, 00400. That's going to be on this part. This part right here. So that one's a max of 90 degrees on the X, which is like that. Okay. From what I do remember, the reason why I put the minus 45 was to help it on the bulk of the lower arm. So this half of it to go minus 45 is it would help. So when you're pushing up, I guess as far as on this, to allow this to go up there, it's keeping this pushed into the ground, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to work that way. So I screwed something up. So yeah, by having it at a minus 45 on the X, like I had it before, this is what I was trying to accomplish. So this was basically be pushing into the ground, so you have that collision for the ground, and it in turn would just allow this to go up. And it's not doing that for some reason, so I need to figure out why is that. Okay. Something and mushed up, yo. So this is so picture, if we will, that I don't know if I can get this into position here. Probably not gonna let me do it. Alright. I'm going to try and mock this up here just as far as what should be happening. So. Oh man, it's not going to be. Okay. This is not going to work the way I was hoping. So I'm trying to get it into the orientation that it should be. This is not going to work. Okay, I think this is pretty close. Oh my goodness. Oh, this stinks so bad. So again, in Giant's Editor, we don't have the means, I guess, as far as to have the ground working with this here. But picture, if you will, that this is remaining parallel to the ground, this part. As we use the right mouse as far as that motion is, as far as to push this upper arm up, it should be pushing this part of our lower frame into the ground. That's the only reason why that's that way. So this, in a sense, would push the rest of this up. For some reason, it's not doing that. That's why I had that design, I guess, as far as at a -45. So here's the resting position again. Put it back in there, right? It's hard to picture it, but that's what it's supposed to be doing. So picture, if you will, I can't get it in Giant's Editor, I guess, as far as to do what I want. This is the angle that we want to have those. So this part would actually be at an angle, I guess, as far as to this one. And this would remain relatively parallel to the ground. So at this point here, I got it backwards, so let's go this way. Let's flip it back around this way. So this is where we hitch up. So again, this whole part here should be moving up with this one here, and this should stay parallel to the ground. But I have to apply that, at least I was having to anyway, that -45 to keep it on the ground so that it wouldn't move that other half of the lower frame up with the upper arm. So this doesn't seem to be working the same way at this point, so I need to figure out why the heck that is. Alright, so maybe what I'll do, rotation max, so that is on the lower frame. Okay, let's do this to 45. Nope, that's gonna lift the whole thing up that way, so I'm almost thinking that it still needs to be at a -45. Like that. In order to do it the one I wanted to do. Okay. So these parts here are all of my wipers or the flippers, I guess, as far as it actually push, yeah, the bale up the conveyor. So yep, all these 06, so I don't need to mess with those. The brain just needs to work here for a second here to understand what the heck I need to do here. This is the right angle, the proper angle that I want on this lower frame. Push that up. I'm just trying to figure out why it's not getting up like it should be. So that part for their sections should be at that pivot. So let me rotate this. That should be rotating up like that. Okay. For sections here at 0, 0, 1, 0. Do I have a node for this? I have to double check. Don't remember. It should. Nope, it's 0, 10, 0. That's just for the base material. Okay, that's the only one I got for it. I didn't think I did. Okay, so right up here. That's our wheels. Where it is? Right here. I already know those wheel positions are good, so it's going to be between these lines right here. It's the only thing I should have to mess with. Okay, we got the right rotation axis, which is X. So 1 is X, 2 is Y, and 3 is Z. just for clarity. I kind of almost feel I want to try minus 45 on this one again. Because I had the minus 45 on here, that did not work. I almost feel like I want to retry the minus 45 on this. That would be for the front half, what I consider to be the front half of the lower frame, which is this part. Right now, the minus 45, I'm going to see if that works. So again, this would be at its resting position. So if I do the minus 45 again, that should, in theory, push that up. The way we previously tested it was just flipping that right over end for end. It shouldn't be doing that. Should not be doing that. Alright, so we're going to put this back to resting position. So I don't really need to save the i3D either. Like I said, only thing I need to apply is an XML edit. So I'm going to do a minus 45 on this. We're going to try it this way. We'll save that. Okay, let's rezip it. For anybody that's wondering as far as why it takes so long, I guess, as far as to get mods done up here, it's exactly this thing. As far as getting things to function the way you want them to. There's still some brain power that you got to use as far as to get the proper translates and the proper rotates and all that stuff applied to it. I know my brain is a little bit fried because I've had a heck of a Monday today, so you have to excuse, I guess, as far as that a little bit. Cut me a little bit of slack. It's doing a number on me. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this to the desktop. Do that off screen. We'll get that over in our mods folder and we'll test this one out. So in this case, so far, it's just it's requiring us to do just XML edits. Alright, so we'll switch this over. Alrighty then, so we're going to bring that over from our desktop and copy that over to our mods folder. Yes, place that and let's go in the game and test it out. I feel like we're on the right track with it because it will need to go 90 degrees on the upper arm. I want that to be straight up, and then it's not going to be nearly as much, I guess, as far as on the lower arm, just to get that to stay planted onto the ground. We need these two parts to work with each other, not against each other. Okay, good to go. Alright, so load up the dev console. Cheers, anybody who's drinking. I'm about out on my I got three beers left in my 6-pack. May have to go run and get some more. Alright, so no additional warnings or errors so far in there. That's good. Number character. We'll turn off our autosave while we're testing. Alright, go to the store. And belt system. Select that. Cool. Alright, everything's good. No errors. Awesome. Lease it. You could probably just go ahead and buy it. We got enough too, but I don't know. I get into the habit of leasing because a lot of stuff that I sometimes test or whatever tends to be more than what I actually start off with. So, alright, let's see how we did. So our resting position's still good. None of that's out of whack. Alright, let's jump into it. And let's see what we get here. Okay, that part's okay. So we did test this one, so that part moves, and so it is pushing, but it's not pushing the rest of that up. Okay, so that part there is definitely doing what it's supposed to. It's not moving it up. So okay, the minus 45 I feel is working because it's not moving that second half at all, but it should be still kind of working with this upper arm that's moving to be able to push the rest of that up. I gotta figure out why it's not doing that. I had that working previously, but I had to change some of my pivots, so I think that's part of the issue too. I wonder if it's going to come down to putting a collision in there. Shouldn't. Get out of this. Yep, so I'm just double checking to make sure that the resting position is actually where it needs to be. I gotta get the second half of the lower frame actually to do something for us here though. It is kind of doing something, so that minus 45 that I put on that second half, it's pushing into the ground and keeping the wheels on the ground, I guess, as far as in allowing that second upper arm, I guess, as far as to move up to 90 degrees. So that much is working. I need to figure out why it's not pushing the conveyor up. Something I'm missing there. Alright, let's switch this back over. Back to the drawing board. Let's see what we got here. So we still got it open here. So this lower frame, not this part. This part's working like it's supposed to. We're good there. What is not working is this part. Okay, so maybe I don't need to... I didn't have that in there previously, but I almost feel like I need to have... So, where I've got the wheels at, and those are hidden. That just helps the deal to drive around. That's these wheels right here. That's at our 0101. That is this part here. That should be allowing us as far as for a little rotation on that too. And it's not doing it. I don't think I need to. So max rotate is 8 minus 8. Oh, I see how I did that now. I got opposing rotations on both the left and right wheel. Okay, hold on a second. That's 8 degrees on Z? No, that can't be right. Hold on. On Z. Z. No, that shouldn't be right. That needs to be on X. Right? Yeah, that should be on X, not Z. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think that's got to be on the X as well, not the Z. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to try next here. Worst case, it won't work at all. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Paste that. Comment this part out. Let's do that. And we're going to have this rotate on 1 instead of Z. Okay, so this will be on the X instead of the Z. Yeah, do the same thing on this one too. Speed. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So we gotta do that on both of those wheels. Just making sure I copied the right stuff here real quick. Yeah. That's good. So we want to copy this. Paste that. And comment this one out. And change this one to x-axis instead of z-axis. Okay, I'm going to try that. This could go horribly wrong. But in my brain, that seems to make sense. That's the way it needs to go. So from what I'm looking at is these wheels that we got here, that you don't see these wheels. It helps the thing drive in comparison to the ones that we can see visually, which is a totally separate set of wheels. We're trying to manipulate how these rotate based on ours. So we want these to rotate this way. I think I might have to adjust how far that goes though too, as far as the rotate. We might have to mess with these going 45 degrees instead of up here on this part of the lower frame. That might be what it'll come down to. Okay. So right now I've only got it going a max rotate of 8. I don't know if I want that. That's weird. Did that alert even go off for that? The Zazu full box. I don't know if that follower has happened to notice that in chat. Welcome on in. I guess as far as if you sorry the alert didn't go off. Yeah, so I might need to have this rotate go a little bit further too, so I think I might do that one before I zip this up here. So let's have this go 45, and this at a minus 45. Let's see what happens there. How those do opposing ways. We'll do file. Save that. Let's try this one out. I did back up, I guess, as far as our previous setting there, just in case we need to revert. Alright, cool. Let's zip that up. Okay, we'll go ahead and cut that and back to desktop. Move that over to our mods folder. Alright, yes please. Alright, let's switch it over. Yeah. Holy delayed reaction on that. There it is. I was wondering if that was going to come through. So Zazu full box. Welcome on in. I wonder why that alert was so delayed, I guess, first. That's weird. Welcome on in, nonetheless. Okay, let's move this stuff over so we get it off the desktop and get it into our mods folder. Replace, yes please. Oh, what's swirling here? I'll be doing that. I'm doing that, pewter. I don't like when you do that. Can I get that moved over and make sure? Yeah, that should be the right one. Alright, cool. Let's go into the game and try it out. Oh my, where did it happen? Oh, my Steam shifted. I wonder if my Steam actually has to update. I think Steam needs to update. That might have been what was swirling. Alright, so it's just rinse repeat process until we get it to where we need it to do. Get this doggone thing working right. Didn't actually feel it should have changed all that much from my previous test. I think there's only one part that I actually, I don't want to say severely changing as far as the pivot to. Shouldn't have caused that much of issue though. Alright, so let's go ahead and add on. Let's go into the store. Belt system. Alright, so the resting position actually loads correctly. It's not until we try to, execute it that has its problems. Okay. So let's go ahead and lease that. We already know the color changing. Yeah. So being able to paint it, I guess as far as what color we want it, works fine. What isn't working currently is on this, oh, still doing the same thing there. So that didn't do absolutely anything. Okay. So it's still working the same way. That's not really going to be part of our solution. Okay. You little bugger. So yeah, that part is definitely working like it should, but that other part, I'm trying to see the movement of the wheels. So what's happening as I move this up by pushing down the right mouse, you can see that little bit of movement there. It's pushing down on the first half, I guess, as far as of this lower frame to keep the wheels planted to the ground. What it should be doing, I guess, as far as in theory anyway, is pushing that up, I guess, as far as the whole thing, to include the upper arm and the conveyor belt itself. And it's not doing that. I need to figure out why that is. Yeah, dirty rascal. Alright, let's get out of this. Okay, so that didn't do anything, so I'll probably revert back to our previous setting. Let's switch this back over again. Okay, we're going to go back to our previous setting. That's why I did just comment that out instead. Alrighty then, let's see. Now I haven't had any reason to save the i3D as of yet. We were just using this as a reference to know where we need to be at in our XML. So I'm going to revert this back where it was and delete this part. Okay. And uncomment this part. Okay, put that right back to where it was. So that is not what we need to screw with. This part out. Okay. Yep, so we're right back to these parts here now. Wheel indices 3 and 4, that should be our physical wheels that dynamically load in, so that's these two spots. As far as our left and right wheels there. So we know that's what those are. That is going to be wheel indices 3 and 4, respectively. Okay? So that's what's being referenced there. Do-do-do-do. Speed. Looking at what my previous setting was there. That should be all good to go. So our rotation max is 90. We already confirmed that. That's this position. And that is on our top frame here. Yep. Put that back to resting position. This is our resting position. Alright. What the heck am I missing here? I screwed something up royally, and my brain is totally fried, I guess, as far as to really want to know what I did wrong. I had this working. Okay, so 00400 is that top arm, which is this part I currently got highlighted. Alright, so lower frame, which is this 0040. We'll check that. So 004, that's this one right here. Okay. Now previously I had this set up to where this was you saw what the result with that one was though, so that did not work. So we already tried a negative 45 and a positive 45 flip-flop, even that's not adequate either. That 45 has got to come into play somewhere. What the heck? That's on this one here. We should be able to put this at X minus 45 that way. And then when this one goes at 90, that's the angle that we need. Dirty, rotten thing. Now the other thing I guess I'm thinking of, I should not have to put a collision into those are all the bumpers, those are wipers. Don't need to do anything with those. What the heck is going on here? That's our wheels, okay. We already know that's... I want to get this resolved first with how this thing functions before I even adjust the wheels on it. So the fact that they load in dynamically, that's definitely a huge plus. Why am I not seeing this? 45 on rotation max on the X, which is what we got it at. Is that pivot not in the right spot? It should be. Yeah. I want that to pivot right there. What the heck? Go positive 45. We already saw what the result with that was. It does actually push the wheels up in the air like that. We don't want that. We do not want that. Okay. Man, I'm stupid. Alright, so I wonder... I don't know why it's acting that way, because I had it working as far as where I didn't have to put really any rotation at all into the sections here, so which would be this part. But it's almost seeming like I do need to put some kind of rotation into that too, like this. And if I do that, I gotta do that for each. No, that's... No, I shouldn't have to do that. Should not have to do that. What the heck? What the frick am I missing here? So there's a... So I got my strap. That strap does that. That doesn't. That should be fine. What in the world? So I might have to revert. I'm missing something, and it's probably something very, very simple. I need to see how I had it in the original construct before I put it in this current configuration. I did have to move some stuff around there at this point. I've done plumb forgot. So let's see. I'm gonna have to crack open that backup of the zip that I have. Let me do that. Yep. Let's do this, and I'm gonna create this as a backup before I unzip it. And let's go ahead and unzip it. I am stumped. My brain is so fried I cannot figure out. It's got to be something so simple it's not even funny. Yeah, let's extract that. Alright, so now we got a backup of same folder. So now let's load up this one. This is before we made any changes or adjustments to it at all. Let's see what's going on here. Open this up in a separate Giants editor session. Okay, now I guess primarily what I want to look at is see where do I got the pivot. Nope, that's in the same. That's should be in the right spot right there. I do have the X. It's -2 and -45. Like that. So that's the same way we got it. Okay, so that shouldn't have changed. And that is on 0040. Same as what we got here. Okay. Now, on this other part, I did previously had it at 183.4 was the min. So that's 00400. So let me take a look at that part. That would be this part. 0040. So on this part, I think this is what might be causing my issue. Because I had a rotation on top of a rotation. You can see how this pivot for that is pointing down. Yeah, so I think that might be... Huh, okay. Is that what's working against me right now? Kind of weird if it is. Oh, that way we went to 266. What was it again? This right here. That would have gone 266. Yeah, it's still straight up though. We're still going the same way there, and then -45 on this part. Like that. So we're getting the same result even on this one here. That is totally confusing to me. So the only difference that I have there is I had a rotation on top of a rotation for this top frame right here. So instead of going just simply 0 to 90, I started off at 183 up to 266. But I still get the same orientation as we do on this version. The only difference here, let me put this back to a minus 45. So we get the same result on this one, like that. The only difference is on this one here, we're going less of a rotation on this part. We're only going 90 degrees instead. That's the same result. So this is our resting position, so we got a 1-to-1 representation here. That's our resting position. But this is the full extent of the lower frame, I guess, as far as that it would be at. So you have to picture, turn this part, I guess, as far as upward, I guess, as far as to, that would push that up. And it's not doing that, so I don't understand why. I can't believe changing that rotation on this one part that much would change that. That's kind of weird. I did not expect that to happen. Huh. So I wonder if I'm gonna have to change. What in the world? Yeah, so that's the same orientation. Let's put this back to resting. That is resting. I guess the main thing is how come it's not moving these sections, not pushing that up. Like, yeah, I think that might have something to do still with, now that I look at this again, it's probably going to have something to do with this part. Now we previously had those moving. Max rotation of 8. Oh my goodness. 0100. Let's see what we got here. That should be 0100. Yep, that's that one right there. Okay. We already tried to rotate those at a different. That didn't do squat. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is racé. We had that on the Z. That wouldn't have made any sense. $8 No, that's not going to do squat. Oh my goodness, this is making my brain hurt right now. Even more than it was already. Well, hopefully this gives you all out there, I guess, as far as if you've never done this stuff yourself, I guess as far as to figure out this is, and you wonder why mods take so long, I guess as far as to get completed, this is part of the reason why. So in theory, this should be working as we expect it to. The lower arm is definitely, so these two parts here should be working to get this moved up, to push that up, going an angle. Get the angle we need to get the height, get the bale conveyed up and onwards, but it's not doing it. Now I had this one. Whoops, this is the one I got? Yeah, so in my backup here, this one is working. I'm trying to figure out the only difference that I've made here to this point is how many degrees of rotation that I have on this part, which would be this right here. So instead of doing it this much, I'm only going 0 to 90 instead of 183 to 266. But we get the same orientation. So again, we can put that in there. So if we go minus 45 on this, that's the same as this one here. Instead of 266, we go 90 on this part. We get the same orientation. Okay, so our Z ends up being there. Let's see what that does. That make a difference? I did not think that was going to make that much of a difference having the rotations put that way. But apparently it does. Okay. Okay, so this is our backup. So I'm just noticing where the orientation of our Y in comparison and Z, and this one that I know that works in comparison to the one that doesn't. I don't know if that's our difference there. So it's not a matter of how it's oriented, but actually how it's the amount of degrees of rotation that we have into that is what's making that work. That's just strange. That should not be the case, but that seems to be what where I'm at with it. So something here. Alright. So this is the one that does not work. Checking that one out. And this one's the one that does. Super strange. So you can see where that Y orientation is on the one that does work, and where this one, it's like opposing. I don't know why that would be the case for it not to work, but that's the only differences that I can see. That is just weird. That should not be the case. It should not be a problem, but apparently it is. Oh yeah. I'm not even sure which direction to go to other than put that rotation back there, which I should not have to do. That's the thing that boggles my mind right now. I should have to use this rotation. This was a silly rotation, I guess, as far as to have. So it's more having this orientation is what should be working. Now I'm just trying to figure out which direction I want to go with this. I don't want to use this, that's for sure. That's just silly. Let me go ahead and put this back in the resting position on this old one. My brain just cannot comprehend that being the proper way to do it. So that's resting. And let's put this one at the same here. So we put this at -2. So that is the resting position there. Okay. Now we don't have any rigid body between there or here. Okay. I'm really bummed out right now. Now this doesn't work like the way I was expecting it to. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. I'm a little bit bummed out. This doesn't work. Alright, let's reset this back to resting position. Alright, so this one here, let me double check our old one. So that is correct. Oh, not on the right part, this part. Yep, so that is correct. I'm just kind of wondering at this point, can I fudge this, just for testing purposes anyway, can I fudge this to I would have to totally flip this way. Nah, that would be silly. Let me try something here real quick, and we'll do a separate save of this. On what I'll do, I'm gonna pull out. Yeah, I don't want to touch this one. I'm gonna try something here. Oh, that's not what I want. Getting in the right folder. There we go. So I'm gonna pull this one out real quick. Yep, pull this one out. Actually, let's just make a copy of it. Hold on. Getting too excited. Copy that out. I'm gonna put this to my desktop and that aside for safekeeping. This is against my better will, but I'm gonna just kind of humor something real quick. Don't want to touch that one. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. I'm going to do a breach translate with this one. That should keep this in that position. Why I made a copy of that I3D, so just in case this goes not the way I expect it to, I got something to revert back to. Alright, so now we got that. Now if I bring this back this way, oops, flip it back this way. Alright, so what was that value again? Let me try something here. If this ends up working, as far as in the game, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, we don't want to touch this one. We're going to try it though. So I'm going to go like this. Okay, we probably don't need it quite that far. Nope, sure don't. Alright, hold on. We only need it to be about right there. Hold on a second. Let me just go 180. Nope, that's a little too much. So we want to do 78, 9. Okay, so it's going to be 179 point. Probably about right there. Okay, so that's our resting position. Let's take this value and apply that to our minimum rotation. This is this one. And then our max rotation is going to be do that. Okay. I'm gonna absolutely flip, like I said, as far as if this actually works in game. Because in theory, that should not make any sense at all. But I just want to debunk this as far as if this has something to do with the way the rotations work. Okay. Now let's put that back to the resting position, which was 179.5, was it? Let's copy this value. Okay. Put that back down. Alright, so we're going to leave this arc here at a minus 45. That again. Oh shoot, I lost my way. Oh snap, I did that. Did I do the wrong one? I did. Son of a gun. I was supposed to do that on this here. Shoot. Alright, so that was the wrong part. I bet. So I need to copy these values over to here. Whoops. I gotta do this here. So do paste that to there. That was the wrong part. Okay, so now I need to reestablish these. I think I had this one was minus. I can confirm this too. It was that. And then this was at minus 45. Okay, so let's reconfirm that on this. Yeah, this should be minus 45. Okay. And our resting position is going to be minus 0.07. Yeah. That's what we want that at. So those lines are at that, and these are, our new lines are going to be this. So we got to save both the i3D and the XML. Test this one out. If this works, this is going to make my head explode. Because there's no way that should be the... that should reasonably make sense. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this. I already backed that up there, so it can always revert. Always revert. Alright, so there's that, and then we also got to save the XML. Okay, so let's give it a whirl. Zip it up. And we'll put this to desktop. And we'll get that over to our mods folder. Okay, I have to get over with that. Alright, let's switch this over and get it over to our mods folder. Alrighty then, so get this off our desktop. And put it in the mods folder. Alright, let's go test it out. I'm kind of preparing myself for, if this actually works, I literally my head is going to explode, because that's going to defy, I guess, as far as everything that is true that we've come to know to be true, I guess, as far as with the way rotations work. Okay, so there goes nothing. Load it up. Cheers for everybody that's drinking. I know I'm drinking. I'm the 4th bottle out of this 6-pack. Man, I made him go and get some more. Alright, so no additional warnings or errors. That's good. Confirm our character. Turn off autosave. Okay, let's go right to the store. Belt system. Let's load that up. Okay. So our resting position still loading in good. No errors. No warnings, so that's good so far. So our resting position is still good. Take a look and see what we got. Yeah, trees are still flickering. I really gotta adjust that in my graphic settings. Alright, so resting position is still good. Nope, that didn't do the squatting thing. So, okay, I was kind of hoping that I was going to do it this way. So I was going to say, if this actually didn't work, that would be like totally ridiculous, but it's still not working. Alright. That's the only difference that I noticed as far as to put the orientations of the Y and the Z in the previous orientation I had, you know, based on my backup. So kind of hoping that wasn't going to be the case. If this actually worked, I would have been like mind blown as far as like, okay, so the laws of how rotations work are actually still holding true, I guess, as far as even with this. We still got to figure out why is the heck is it's not lifting up our conveyor. I'm noticing I got some nasty. What in the heck is going on with the shading here? Notice that too between all my different sections here. Crying out loud. So something got broke there. Huh. Yeah, something definitely. You can see this nasty shading that's in between each section on the one end. Might have to fix that. Oh, plenty of things to fix on this one so far. I don't know what the heck I broke, I guess, as far as to get that to not work. So, a little bit confused. Alright, let's switch this back over. Well, I think I'm pretty well spent on this myself, folks. I do appreciate everybody dropping on in, I guess, as far as to see what we had going on here. I was really hoping, I guess, as far as to get this done. But I'm kind of a little bit stuck as to what direction I need to go with this, because I had it previously working. Now the fact that it doesn't work, I'm not sure what I broke. My brain's just not really working right now. So, so there's more than just the functionality of it that broke too. So, for some reason, looking at, let's see what I did here. If I bring a light in here, yep, I definitely don't have those dark shading spots, I guess, as far as on my different sections on. This is my backup before I did anything. This one, let me check this one real quick. As you can see in the game too. So there's more. Oh yeah, that's really bad. Holy crap, so I don't know what the heck broke there. What in the world that's all about, but that's definitely something else I need to correct. So I never changed anything at all, I guess, as far as what the mapping of our parts. So if I go back to, where did you save this, right? Yeah, that's our painted parts already. Let's go ahead and do a new. And let's load in our conveyor parts. There we go. So this is how the different sections are laid out. So the fact that I'm getting all that dark spot, I guess, as far as on that makes no sense to me. No sense. Huh. That is jacked up. Yeah, that really burns me to the core, I guess, as far as why that's happening. I have no idea why we're getting the dark spot, the dark shading, as far as on the one end of the section. We can see the layout, I guess, as far as of our UV. There's no reason for that to be happening. So I guess I'm going to have to re-export that, those parts individually, and bring those back in. I'm going to do that, I guess, as far as off screen. I'm not going to bore everybody to death with that process, but yeah, that's definitely a huge problem too. On top of the functionality not wanting to be there, it's just kind of really just capping off the way the Monday has been going, as far as like nothing working, nothing falling into place like you expect it to. This whole Monday is just a complete wash to me. And from what's happening in the playtesting, as far as to get this thing fixed up or whatever, and get it working the way I had it, my previous tester, it's just presenting itself to be, I guess, as far as just a terrible Monday. It's a typical Monday. So again, with like I was saying, I said I appreciate everybody who did stop by, I guess, as far as to see me fall flat on my face, I guess, as far as to get this this thing completely working. I'll continue to work on it, I guess, as far as throughout the week, get it back to where it should be, and hopefully I'll have a finished product to be able to show you, I guess, as far as one of the upcoming streams, maybe for Spline Design Studio Saturday, which we will be having coming here up on the channel. I will not be streaming tomorrow on the channel, which is normally our normal time slot, I guess, as far as for trucking, getting some trucking in, I guess, as far as on Tuesday. So I know that's 100% confirmed. I will not be doing that for tomorrow. Wednesday, or whatever Wednesday, we will be continuing the playthrough of Manbazu. We got some updates in Manbazu. So if you do want to check out, I guess, as far as what's going on there, if you haven't checked them out yourself, or even if you have, drop on in, I guess, as far as share your experience, I guess, as far as with the latest update to Manbazu. Look forward to seeing you. So, yeah, let's go ahead and sign off here. Let me take a look here real quick and see who we got. Who do we have live? And maybe I can rate out, I guess, as far as somebody. Do we got anybody? I know it's kind of been a terrible Monday. It's a very typical terrible Monday. And it definitely justifies it here, as far as what's been happening with this model here. I don't really have anybody, unless anybody else has any ideas where they would like to go on to. Nobody in my feature channels that I usually post my own channel here, as far as to be able to go to. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and sign off. Appreciate everybody stopping in, and hope to see you again for either Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, or Spline Design Studio Saturday coming up this weekend. Later, everybody. Bye for now.